Terence Crawford training methods.
Hi, I'm Ben from Coach Bench Performance. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you've not already, make sure you like and subscribe to get more updates and more content to you on how to enhance your boxing performance. So today I'm going to be reacting of the training methods of Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is one of the greatest fighters of this era. He's a 4-weight world champion. He's moved up from 135 pounds up to 154 pounds. And now he's actually going up to 168 to challenge another great of this era, Canelo Alvarez. I truly believe if Terence Crawford wins this fight, he's going to go down in history as one of the greatest fighters of all time. If you've seen Crawford's training before, he's a phenomenal athlete. I've seen videos of him deadlifting 455 pounds, 3 times his body weight. And when it comes to boxing, he's just a beast. 41 wins, undefeated, and 31 knockouts. He's recently released some old footage for his last fight in 2024 against Madrimov. So Crawford was actually coming up from 147 after his victory against Errol Spence and challenging Madrimov for the WBA title. And here we can see he's training at the UFC Institute, something I didn't actually know. So this shows how much he was prioritizing his strength and conditioning for that fight to put his body in the most physical and peak condition. And I think strength conditioning is important for any boxer, but here, taking it to the next level was especially important for this camp because again, he was moving up in weight and Crawford started at 135 pounds. So now he's fighting 20 pounds over the initial weight which he was fighting at. He doesn't only want to increase muscle mass, but he wants to make sure that he's maintaining his speed, his power, and his explosiveness. So let's take a look at the workout. So here he's starting with some kettlebell windmills. And I guess this is earlier on in his workout, some extra activation stability work. This looks easier, but it's seriously challenging. Try it if you've not. And this is a great exercise for boxers. We're in that overhead position. That's going to challenge that shoulder stability. The rear shoulder is going to switch on. That's important for protecting a boxer's shoulders. We're going to get high amounts of core and oblique activation. That's going to enhance our trunk stability, but then also core strength. That's going to transfer to punch power and harder hitting. So great exercise. We have these type of exercises early on in the session because we're fresh, we can focus on speed and intent, but then it's also going to prime your nervous system for any more heavy lifting. Just like within a punch, with a snatch, you're working on triple extension, producing force quick from the legs and then transferring it to the upper body. This is a similar exercise to one I love to use, and that's a landmine punch. I'm gonna pair this with 2 plyometrics as part of an extended warm-up. And again, this is using a heavy loaded exercise, but most importantly, focusing on that transfer of energy from the lower body to the upper limb. Then here he's doing a lat pull down. So the upper back is important for boxers because they're already imbalanced. They've thrown hundreds of punches in a training week. So they're always training those pushing muscles with high force, but not necessarily the pulling muscles. And the back, that plays a vital role in decelerating missed shots to protect the elbow, the shoulder, and also pulling shots back rapidly in combinations. And it's also going to help produce that snap up on impact. Machines are also great options because they enhance stability. So instead of doing a pull-up where you might lack technique, form, core stability, you can just directly target the muscle here. And with Crawford moving up in weight, he's got to increase and optimize that muscular tension to stimulate hypertrophy. So here he's developing single leg strength with the split squat, but from a deficit. So this is increasing the range of motion of the full movement. With him moving up in weight, this is important because muscles respond better in terms of muscle growth for a larger range of motion. This is improving that single leg strength, that stability, while driving more signals that are going to stimulate muscle hypertrophy. So I've never seen this before, but this looks like to be a great core exercise. And the bar he's using seems to be a little bit heavier towards the end. And here he's training the overall core strength and stability. So he's training in anti-extension, resisting that sort of extension of the spine, resisting them legs falling forward. But then also he's got a rotational element in there as well. And that's important because we're in the punch, producing high amounts of rotational power through the trunk. So we need to be strong and stable to produce that force and then transfer it from the legs to the upper body. And here what's good is having slow, controlled tempos and he's enhancing that overall core stability. So here he's prioritizing grip, which is great. So this is a great exercise to develop grip strength. Developing grip strength is important for boxers to protect the hands and the tools of the trade. You need the hands, the grip, the forearm to be strong enough to be able to deal with the consistent high impact in training, in sparring, and in competition. But also having a strong grip, that's going to allow you to deliver the snap upon impact and deliver force to your opponent. It was actually an old research paper and it found that grip strength was actually linked to a boxer's competitive ranking. And then when you're looking at other hard hitters such as Golovkin, Beterbiev, they all have phenomenal forearm and grip strength. So here he's doing a TRX row, so another upper back exercise. So increasing upper pulling volume is important to producing balance because like I said before, we're always pushing, we're always punching. We want a pull to push ratio to be anywhere from 2 or 3 to 1. This is great for that, but again, he's moving up in weight class. So he's got a heavy loaded back exercise on body weight light loaded exercise. So it seems here what he's doing is strengthen the back with a higher force, more stable movement, but then using a lighter exercise just to get extra volume in and stimulate more hypertrophy. Here we can see him doing some accentuated jumps. This is great, and basically what we're doing, we're overloading the eccentric portion of the jump. This is basically the dip phase. But then by releasing it, it's like going from the heavy to light effect. So the muscle, the signals, they presume you've got that load still there, so it has to produce more force within the jump. So in theory, it's making you jump higher. And what this does, it enhances your ability to use stored elastic energy. This is important for stepping back and punching, counter punching. But one key thing with Crawford moving up in weight is that it needs to stay explosive. So here he's using a training method which can load to produce high force, but still keeping his fast twitch muscle fiber recruited and that explosiveness and speed and intent. I think this type of stuff is great, and here he's doing a reaction drill. Obviously within boxing, your reaction time needs to be developed. And although a lot of this is going to be done in sparring, within training, with partner drills, I think it's great to put in a strength conditioning setting. I think these drills are great also to implement into circuits or in between rounds of your conditioning. This does seem to be towards the end of his workout. And again, I think that's great because boxing, it's not just about having fast reaction times, but it's being able to have and sustain those fast reaction times under fatigue. So I think it's great to implement some type of reaction drill within your session when you're tired. Similar to the deficit split squats, here he's doing deficit kettlebell deadlift. Again, this is great because he's taking himself through a large range of motion. That's going to stimulate more muscle growth. And what's great to see is lifting it, but still with intent and with speed, because he's doing high volumes here and high reps. And that's where those slow switch muscle fibers can take over. But to meet the demands of the sport, he wants to stay explosive. He wants to keep those fast twitch muscle fibers recruited, and he wants to increase his rate of force development. So even though he's doing high volumes over a large range, he's still keeping that speed and intent throughout the set. So I really enjoyed that, actually analysing the training methods of one of the best fighters of this era. And it just shows that the elites and the top level fighters all prioritize the strength and conditioning, because I feel like the old school days are done where strength conditioning was seen as a gimmick or there wasn't enough research there to support the most optimal methods. And it's just great to see fighters prioritize the strength conditioning alongside the skill training. And it shows if you want to be an elite boxer and you've not already started strength conditioning, now's your call to start. If you think it would help, check out the War Ready strength conditioning program. This is a program designed to get boxers fighting fit in just 14 weeks. Check out the link in the description. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video.